Everyone knows that one should never rely on an ex's account, but as biased as their opinions may be, one can also argue that their opinions also present certain aspects of the truth that have been hidden from the public eye. Who better to reveal the dirty little secrets of a person than their ex? Perhaps that's why we want to look into what Kimi K's exes have said about her in the video below. Starting off, let's begin at the very start. Hey, if we're gonna talk about the beauty mogul's ex-lovers and all the little tales they've told about her, it's only fair to begin where it all began. The famous ex that propelled her into fame, and no, we're not crediting him for her success, we're just saying that it was their, well, smoking hot romance, for a lack of a better word, that ultimately resulted in her rise to fame. Before this specific individual entered her life, Kim was not more than just Paris Hilton's pretty little sidekick. Paris was the Regina George of her era, and Kim was just akin to one of the other mean girls. And hey, we're not trying to be mean, but if you go back and look at videos from the early 2000s, you'd see that we make a fair point. But this was long before Kim's very own internet-breaking video that not only shook our whole lives, but apparently turned hers around too. Yes, folks, you guessed it right. It's the 2007 infamous tape between Miss Kim and her then-boyfriend, Ray J. The 41-minute-long footage from their holiday in Cabo San Lucas. Remember? The tape sparked so much speculation and controversy online that Kim was pushed from the sidelines into the limelight. Well, if the video had taken such an intense toll on her life, Ray J, as the other star of Superstar, was also bound to have some feelings towards it. Let's look at what he had to say. You better prepare yourself. We've got a lot waiting for you. Up next, Ray J on Kim's superstar potential, her makeup obsession, and the breakup. Back in 2009, when Ray J finally had the chance to speak his part of the story alongside Vlad TV, the man had a whole lot to say. After so much silence, we must admit it was also pretty interesting to hear from him. He leaked the most piping hot tea, almost as steamy as the leaked tape, if you know what we mean. Ray J revealed that the leak wasn't actually a leak. In fact, he confirmed everyone's suspicion by stating that the whole thing was orchestrated by Kim and her momager, Chris. He even went as far as to state that Chris saw many variations of the tape and chose the best one before releasing it. Yikes! Does this mean Kim cries crocodile tears each time someone mentions the tape? Well, we can only speculate, and we don't have hard-pressing evidence for this situation. It's a very he said, she said situation. But whatever the case may be, Ray J did clarify that the tape wasn't the reason they broke up. The real reason the couple broke up was that, apparently, Kim stole from his mom. Given that she's literally a multimillionaire right now, it's hard to picture her as a thief. But her fortunes weren't always this bright. Oh, and he also revealed that apparently Kim always wanted her makeup to be perfect, even mid-lovemaking. That's not the only thing he said about their lovemaking. He seemed to be in the mood for TMI because he also shared details about the toys they used. But we think we've heard enough from him. Let's hear what her first husband had to say. Remember Damon Thomas, Kimi K's first husband, the one she married right before her rise to fame? If you don't remember him, that's okay too, because not a lot of people know of her intense little teenage romance era, so it's okay, we'll update you a little. So the story goes that back in 2000, when Kim was merely 19 years old, she married her then-boyfriend, Damon Thomas, who was more than a decade older than her at the time. She later accused him of abuse during the relationship and divorced him in 2004. Ever since then, the mother of four has spoken up time and time again about how deeply she regrets the decision. She went on to state in an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians that she only said "I do" because she was tripping on ecstasy. Yikes, girl. Now, we understand that people make terrible decisions under influence, but marrying someone and then staying with them for around 4 years purely because you made a decision under the influence? Sounds a bit irresponsible, don't you think? And hey, that's not our opinion at all. We can only imagine how hard it must have been for her to finally leave. We're simply reinstating what her ex-husband had to say about her. First, he denied all the rumors of abuse, and then he went on to call her careless and irresponsible for blaming a drug for their marriage. Interesting take, Damon. Moving on, she came in like a cannonball. Okay, we're really sorry for the really tacky puns, but this particular one kinda deserved it. Remember Nick Cannon, Mariah Carey's now husband? Well, that may not have been the case had he gotten what he wanted back before the whole Ray J thing happened. Because as it turns out, Nick Cannon once revealed in an interview that Kimi K broke his heart. In fact, rumors suggest that he went on to write a whole song about it, My Side of the Story. Apparently, he met the then rising star on the sets of Moesha, and she was merely just his stylist back then. But sparks flew immediately, and they started hanging out quite a lot. Things took a sad turn for him when he ultimately started catching feelings for her, but what he thought of as a serious affair was merely a casual thing for Kim. He kept hearing rumors about her tape with Ray J, but he only believed it when he saw it. And ouch, that must have left him a little heartbroken. Years later, in an interview, he did state that she never really mentioned him, mostly because there was a long list of men after him. He joked that she must have forgotten. But then, being the gentleman that he is, he quickly went to call her a great girl. Well, whether Kim was simply using people as stepping stones to fuel her career, or she genuinely didn't mean to lead Nick on, it can't be denied that she did, in fact, break his heart. Coming up, let's look at exes who were all praise for the beauty mogul. Hey, not all of her exes had sharp things to say about her. Some reviews were actually pretty nice. It's only fair that we shed light on that side of the story too. The footballer, Reggie Bush, for example, dated the 42-year-old back in 2007. This was during her whole Ray J scandal, but Reggie was a total gentleman about it, and he didn't care much about her past. This gentlemanly behavior didn't stop there and then. Even years later, when he spoke about her in Us Weekly, he was all praise for the brand she's built for herself. He went on to call her incredibly smart and strategic. Well, we have to agree with him there. This opinion is also shared by her most recent ex, Pete, who is also still always praised his ex and remained friends with her. But not all men praise their exes in the same way. The rapper The Game decided to praise her by reliving the escapades in certain NSFW lyrics he wrote about not only Kim, but also two other Kardashians he claimed to have slept with. Yikes. Sounds a little misogynistic, no? Well, yeah, a lot of people seem to agree, but The Game simply claimed that he was merely praising the sisters. See what we mean? There are two ways to praise your ex: the gentleman's way of things and the not-so-gentlemanly way of things. Miss Kardashian has somehow managed to garner both. Let's look at all the lovers who have a little bit of regret. Now that we've talked about her major romances, we bet you haven't heard about the lesser-known ones. Well, we don't know how much truth there is to the rumors. One such example is that of Bow Wow, who referred to Kim as today's Marilyn Monroe. He said that she had always been a hustler and that he isn't surprised that she made it this big. But Bow Wow did express that he always had to keep their romance a little low-key because back then there was too much noise around the Kardashians already. Then there was Kris Humphries, who married Kim back in 2011. The two later split, and everyone called the wedding a sham for publicity. While we don't know the reality of this, Kris kept reasserting that the whole marriage was very real for him, and he would have wanted things to work out between the two. Lastly, how can we forget Kanye West? Mr. West has always been all praise for his ex-wife. Back at the height of his romance with her in 2014, he always gushed about her in public, about how she had the most perfect body, face, and style. But at the same time, he wanted to raise a family. He felt as if he had somehow won the lottery and hit the jackpot with her. Perhaps that's why, post their divorce in 2021, he continued to insist that she come back. The man was so heartbroken, people thought she was the reason he went off the rails. He literally stated that he wanted them to get back together. He was so addicted to her that at a concert, he pleaded with her to run right back to him. All this makes it pretty clear that Kim had enchanted Yeezus to the point that he couldn't seem to quit. He kept publicly referring to her as his wife in public. And hey, we do understand it's really hard to let go of someone that you have had 4 kids with and almost spent a decade with, but no one likes a clingy ex. Another very interesting remark he made was that he threatened Kim's then-boyfriend Pete and accused him of stealing his wife. Yikes. This attitude might be why you lost her to begin with, Yee.